Hello friends, welcome back. This is Nima with one last card for Easter. For this card, we're using all the little pieces of paper that you have around. Let me show you what we need. I'm using this piece for the pot, and for the eggs, I'm using different pieces of white card that I have. We need a extra, and this in here that I'm using is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. My card is A2, so I'm just want to leave a little border around, not too much, and that's optional. You can always cut this 4 1/2 by 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and that will be your card. For the card base, I'm using this blue. I use a little more like greener in that one. And to make those eggs, I'm using like the foam craft, and this is really thick. You can use one that is not as thick as this one, and I'm using several colors of Distress Oxide to paint the eggs. In addition to that, I use 2 markers, one green and one black for the message on the top. Of course, you're gonna need some glue and scissors, and we're just gonna have a lot of fun in here. So let's start with the template for the eggs. See, we can keep it in here as a reference. So I have 2 sizes of eggs in here, and to create the template, I forgot to tell you that it will be good to have a piece of just paper, maybe newspaper, whatever you have around. And for me, the easiest way to do this is to sketch the egg half on whatever size I want it. And once I have that sketch in there, cut that and use that to create your shape. So we have one in there, and I'm going to repeat the process to create the other one, but this one is going to be a lot smaller. And you see that even when you use a template, you always have options to make them especially a little smaller. Let's cut this one in here. That's my egg. It looks like a mango, so let's make it less white on the bottom. All right, and again, we can change those shapes. And now we're gonna trace on the foam so we can cut the egg based on the template. I have another marker in here. You can use a pencil if you use this type of foam. If you use a marker, be careful, because sometimes with a marker it's gonna smear, and then you ended up with a big blob. So I have egg number 1. If I feel like that one is way too big, so what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna cut inside the line. Okay? And if you think it's too small, then cut outside the line. And what we're doing in here is that we're creating a stamp. I'm trying to cut inside the line. That's gonna be a huge egg. So I'm trimming the size a little bit. Okay, I like that shape. Let me fix the other side. Okay, so I got my first one in here. Let me cut the other one. So what happens if you don't have that type of craft foam? I'm sure that you get some packages and you might get something like styrofoam. You can use that too. We're not doing a perfect stamp in here. You see the way that we're gonna do this is it's a simple method that you can do with your kids. We can do it. You don't need, it's not require special technique, and it doesn't need to be perfect. We want to create those type of spots and things on the eggs. And now we have our stamps. And to stamp without getting our fingers or ink, I'm gonna use a stamp block. I have one for the little one, and I have this one for the other one. Okay? And I'm gonna start with the base color, and for the base color I'm using speckled eggs. This stress oxide is what I'm using, but if you don't have that, feel free to use any other type of ink. In fact, if you're doing it with your kids, you can use paint that you have for school, acrylic, right? So how many eggs we need? I put in here 5 of the big ones, and then I have 5 of the little ones, 6 of the little ones. And you can cut more or less depending on the design that you're doing. The first thing that I'm gonna do is grab some ink and oops, that color. And again, I'm not going for getting the stamp completely ink. And I'm gonna stamp another one in here. And I'm gonna stamp like a second generation. And I'm flipping the eggs upside down so I can get some room to add another one in here. And I'm gonna change the color. Yeah. Cleaning my stamp a little. And I'm gonna grab a little bit of the old paper. Got that green in there. And I can get a second generation in here. That's really, really light, but that's fine. I can actually get some of the blue, and I tapped really light, not too much, just enough to get the border. And now I'm gonna go over the first stamp that I put in there, and now you get more definition. So that's how I get all those other colors. So I'm just stamping different color on top, right? I'm gonna add a little bit of green to that second one that I have in here. And yeah, I'm gonna add another one. Yeah, let's add another egg in here. We have room for another one. Okay. And I'm bringing now, let's put put these ones away. I'm bringing now vintage photo. Wipe down my stamp a little. And I'm not gonna grab too much. And if you think it's too much, get a piece of paper and tap a little. And I'm going on top of this one, just to give it like that in there, right? And gonna just stamp some details on the others. With this one, I didn't grab anything on that side because I'm trying to tap on the side so I don't get too much in the middle. That will also help giving you the shape of the egg, make just like it creates a little bit of dimension. It makes it look rounded. Let's add some of this one as well. I got that little stripe in there. That's fine. That's fine. Got some brown in here. I'm gonna add a little bit of blue to this one. See? Oh, lovely. Lovely, lovely. I like it. All right, so I'm gonna put this X aside, and I'm gonna bring the small one to make some of the small one. I still have in here a piece of paper, cardstock, and this is maybe 80 pounds. Hey, you can do it in paper, regular printer paper. So let's get the small one in here and repeat the process. The base, you see, this is in printer paper. Yeah. The base will be in the color that you prefer. I want to do like 3 in one color, and the blue, and 3 in the green. And I like that lighter one because I can add other shades. And let's add a little bit of the green to this ones. Coming in between. A little bit of the blue. I think I grabbed too much, so I'm tapping on this one to remove the excess. Right. See in here. Oh yeah. And this is very, very light, so I'm gonna add a little more blue. Just some of the brown in here, especially to some of these ones that they're really, oh, this is upside down. Okay. And here we have the different eggs. I'm gonna fussy cut all these eggs. And when you're fussy cutting these eggs, it's your option, but I prefer to go really, really close to the edge. And one more thing that I can do in here is I have the opportunity to fix any any little things like these eggs, they have like a little bump on one side. I can fix that. Now, once you cut your eggs, if you see a lot of white, come back with another color, light color, very, very light. You can use any of the base colors, or I'm using Lost Shadow, and that will neutralize, cover a little bit the white of the paper. All right, and it make it look a little more finished. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna stop the video just to do that, and I'll come back very quick. Okay, the eggs are ready, and I just need to create the pot, and this is just a quick template, whatever shape you want. This part in here, I'm gonna add it as a single strip, so I don't worry too much about how long that part will be. I just want to have like a little bit of a base for the other one to hold on. Let's trim this really quick. And we're not using any dies in here, but if you have one, well, yeah, feel free to use it. So that's the little pot that I have in there. And to give it a little dimension, I'm gonna use Vintage Photo. And you can use crayons, you can use anything, or you just, if you don't want to do it, don't do this part. Okay, this we're gonna give it like a little bit of distressed look, and also it makes it look like dimensional. And since I'm gonna add that piece on there, I'm just gonna bring this color down a little, and then this piece in here is pretty much that size, whatever width you want it, and then yeah, but make it straight, no not like mine. And I'm gonna just angle the edges in there a little bit, and it will go right in there. And again, going back with this, that will add a little bit of dimension. Okay, and I'm gonna wait to add that part once I put all the eggs, because that's gonna cover anything that I'm missing in there. Okay, so let's bring the card. And by the way, I had a little bit of distressed oxide, this roll on the corner, so I have to trim this a little bit. Now is 4 by 5 1/4. That's okay. We're just gonna have a little extra edge in there, which is not bad. So let's start with this, and I'm gonna position in here the pot where place that you want it. And this is just to measure, checking, making sure that I have the space for everything. 3x on the front and 2 on the back. Well, I love that one with just a little bit of color. All right, and then that will give me space for the message and for the ones on the bottom. So I'm gonna mark this in here, just a simple mark in here. Let's remove this, and we're gonna put those eggs in position. And I'm gonna start gluing a little bit the ones on the edges, because then I can always go back and then put more glue. But I don't want to miss the placement, right? This one in here, now that those two are in there, it's a lot easier. I can just lift this ones and then put glue on that one. Put some glue in here. And this is a very strong glue, so I don't need that much glue. And this is what I was saying. After I have that, then I can come back and then I can say, oh yeah, I need more glue in here. I need more glue in here. I need a little bit of glue in here, right? So I have to put the one in the front. I want to play with the colors so they kind of show, like this one in there, and then maybe a blue one on one of the sides in here. Yep. And then you can do this one or this one. Yeah. Okay. Once I put this X in here, I'm gonna draw the little bit of a grass that is coming out of the pot. It's a lot easier if you do it before you put the pot, all right? But you want to keep in mind the where everything goes. I mean, if you have like, and then just, and of course over the eggs as well. And you can add some in here. I didn't put anything on there, but you can add some more in there. You can actually get like paper, green paper, and cut very thin stripes and then put them in there. Yeah, why not? Okay, and then we have the mark where actually I can bring it down a little and we have space. I'm actually adding more in this side because everything got under. That egg was not glued completely. Okay, we got that. And I'm gonna add a little bit of a shadow, green shadow. And I'm using just a very quick watercolor. You can use crayons, you can use anything that you have available. That's my watercolor in here. All right, and I'm gonna go down a little because the eggs, they're gonna be laying in here. I think that might be a little too dark, so I can get just water and move it around. Okay. I didn't put too much water, so it dries really, really quick. So I'm gonna add glue to the pot. Put it straight in there, and the top part. And then the little eggs that we have in here, let's put one in here, and like this one a lot. Let's put this one in here, and I'm putting that one kind of on the front. It helps with the dimension of the picture. Before I put the glue the eggs, I'm gonna add some grass in here. This one in the back. And if you want to add more later, you can add more. It's just a lot easier to do it before you put something in there. So one egg in here and the other one in the front. I'm gonna add a little more green. I still have some green in here. Bring it down a little. And you see now I need more of these ones. Okay, that's good. That's next one in here. And this cute one on the side. Oh, that's perfect. That is just perfect. Okay. And the next thing that we need to do is add the glue. And now we have a little extra space around the card. Actually looks really cute. It brings all the blue from the eggs. And for the message, you just write whatever message you want. I sketch this one first, like a happy Easter. And then I use my micron pen to go over in here. Okay? So this is the card. That we made using our own stamps. I'm gonna write something in here really quick. Normally what I do is I get an oval and then I sketch the angle in here, and then I can just write the message. So let's say that I want to say for this one, Easter blessing. Right? And once you are happy with the sketch, then you can go with the pen. And you just need to erase the lines after. Easter blessings. that little tip in there. And the tail. Get your eraser. Normally I will wait a little bit. All right, so here we have with the extra eggs that I have in here. I have around some extra, the cards that we made, last minute cards for Easter. Happy Easter. I'll see you next week at any time. I don't know when. Enjoy your Easter. Bye.